Hello everyone, happy Tuesday morning. I am back with another blog to read to you. Today I am reading a continuation of the blog that I read to you yesterday, which was called Stolen Problems, and I wrote that about a year and a half ago in trying to deal with my own anxiety. And when all the things that I knew how to apply and use to try and deal with my anxiety weren't working, I was getting pretty frustrated because the anxiety just kept lingering, and I didn't know what to do. And so this blog that I'm going to read to you today is sort of a part two of that whole situation that I was dealing with a year and a half ago. So this is basically what do you do when anxiety keeps hanging around despite your best attempts to get rid of it? How do you deal with the storm while you're waiting for it to pass? And this blog is entitled Duck and Cover, Retreat from Anxiety. The anxiety I wrote about in my previous post and read to you in yesterday's video can hang over me like a dark, oppressive cloud. I was on a walk recently thinking on the lessons I was reminding myself about in my previous post and in yesterday's video. I have all these words and truths that I've been given, all these really great strategies to keep from feeling anxious or depressed. And when they don't work, I automatically think it's about me. The anxiety starts to grow tentacles of self-condemnation, guilt, unworthiness, shame, doubt, overanalyzing, isolation, fear, and it consumes me, tries to smother me. I want something to fix it and to make this go away, but it doesn't appear to work that way. So if anxiety is going to hang around, how do I deal with the storm until it passes? I asked this question to God as I was walking recently, and the answer I heard was, hang tight and ride it out. Immediately I pictured myself with my knees pulled up to my chest and my hands covering my head, the typical duck and cover position. So I just wait it out and hide until the storm passes? That feels so passive and weak. I want to stand strong and keep fighting, but sometimes anxiety makes your perception skewed. Some battles are not mine to fight, and the ones facing me today would be like walking out into a hurricane with only an umbrella for protection. So for this minute, this hour, for the rest of this day, I choose to duck and cover. I choose to believe that being strong isn't just about fighting the good fight, but also about knowing when to stand firm and when to seek shelter, when to advance and when to retreat, when to run headlong into battle and when to stay safe. Today I choose safety, to retreat and to seek shelter, to trust that my God is constantly at work on my behalf and in my defense. I am running into the shelter of his arms and speaking the truth of Psalm 18, verses 1 through 6 over my life, which say, I love you, Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. My shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I called to the Lord who is worthy of praise, and I have been saved from my enemies. The cords of death entangled me, the torrents of destruction overwhelmed me. The cords of the grave coiled around me, the snares of death confronted me. In my distress I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From his temple he heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears. I have clung to these verses so many times as I weathered the darkness of anxiety and depression. God has used these verses as an encouragement and a reminder to me that he is my shelter, my safe place. I will hang tight and ride out this storm until it passes. I will take refuge in God. I refuse to surrender to the tentacles of anxiety trying to entangle me. I am covered and protected by the truth of God's love, and that is enough to see me through. So that is part two of what ended up being a 3-part blog series on anxiety. So tomorrow I will be back to read the third part. But I hope that what I have shared today has been helpful to you if this is a situation that you find yourself in today or recently. And that, this has just encouraged you to keep holding on, to not give up, and to trust that God is going to see you through even when it seems like there's no end to the storm in sight. That He's with you and He's protecting you and guiding you, and that even though you can't see where the finish line is or where the end of it is, that He has already been to all of your tomorrows, and He knows exactly what you need to get through this. And so I pray that you would just be asking Him to give you whatever it is that you need to sustain you and to carry you through this time, because He knows better than any of us. So I hope everyone has a good Tuesday, and I will, like I said, I'll be back again tomorrow with the third part of my blog series on dealing with anxiety, and I will talk to you then. Bye-bye.